Okay, we're all set. Go ahead.
Great. Thank you, Joanne, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the January 11th, 2023 meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission. We will open with a roll call. Ms. Hostetter.
Here.
Mr. Chiocchio.
Here.
Mr. Sylvain.
Here.
Mr. Haas is not here, I don't believe.
No,
He
I'm
is.
here.
He's there.
Oh, Kevin Haas is here. I'm sorry, Kevin. I didn't see you on my screen. And Chairman Finaldi is here. Mr. Haas, would you sit in for the empty seat, vacant seat this evening?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commission members, earlier this week, the minutes of the December 7th and December 14th meetings were distributed. Unless there's any questions or corrections, I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes of the December 7th and 14th meetings. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are accepted. Commission members, let the record show the next regular meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is scheduled for January 18th, 2023, 1 week from today. Please note your calendar accordingly. I'll read the standard virtual Zoom meeting intro before we move into our agenda. This meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is being held on Zoom as a virtual meeting. Even though this meeting is a virtual meeting, members of the public and interested parties continue to have the opportunity to participate in the meeting in a couple of different ways. You can participate via Zoom and see the audio and the video, or you can call in by phone and participate via audio only. Please be aware that we may have to mute your microphone or telephone to avoid an echo or some other background noise. Instructions on how to participate in the meeting appear on the City of Danbury website, and all of the documents and materials that apply to the matters to be discussed during this meeting, including the agenda, are also available on the City of Danbury website. As always, if you have any questions regarding how to participate in the meeting, please contact the City of Danbury Planning and Zoning Department. As a reminder, the entire meeting will be posted on and can be seen on the City of Danbury website. We will follow the posted agenda as per standard practice. If prior to the meeting, any questions or comments on agenda items were submitted via email to the Planning and Zoning Department, those comments will be read during the appropriate portion of the meeting. Finally, please remember that technology glitches do sometimes occur. Please be patient if that happens. There are no new public hearings this evening, so we will move right to our continuation of public hearings. Item 1. Border LLC, The Botanist, application for special exception, revised site plan approval to allow 1, cannabis hybrid retailer, sections 5B2B4 and 3C4, and 2, trip generation in excess of 500 vehicle trips per day, section 3E2 in the CA80 zone, 105 Mill Plain Road, C14063, in all or a portion of C14064, special exception number 790. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Attorney Mizuko.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. Ward Mizuko here on behalf of the applicant. I just want to give you a brief update. Since the last hearing, we submitted a revised site plan. We responded to all of the pending comments, including those from construction services and planning, the planning staff. We had already had a clean letter from the engineering department, as you may recall, expressing no additional comment. I'm pleased to report that the extension of the sidewalk and some other driveway improvements were pending before the DOT because we're on a state highway. And just today, they indicated their approval with the plan submitted. And I've already given a copy of that approval to planning staff. And that's especially relevant because those minor improvements that the DOT and planning staff required will enable us to establish even more clearly that we comply with the traffic requirements of section 10C4. I believe that we've covered all the bases, addressed all the comments, and if planning staff agrees, we would be respectfully requesting the commission to close the hearing and to consider the application at an early date.
Thank you, Attorney Mizuko. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Commission members, obviously we've heard quite a bit of testimony, received a lot of information on this particular application. Unless there's any questions for the applicant, we're in a position to close. Anyone?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion made to close. Do I hear a second?
Second.
By Mr. Kiyokia.
Could I also add to move this to old business for discussion and possible action? Excuse me.
Yeah, let's close it first, and then you can make the motion to do that. So we'll try to follow.
Sorry.
That's okay, no problem. We'll just leapfrog it backwards one. Okay, there's a motion made and seconded to close the public. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of closing, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hit it, Perry.
I'd like to make a motion to move this to old business for discussion and possible action.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to move this to item 1 under, item 2 under old business for discussion and possible action. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's number 3.
Oh, number 3. I knew it was either 1, 2, or 3. I just
I didn't want to take a crack at the number without looking, so I left it out.
Fair enough. Okay. That's fine. We will move, looking at our agenda, commission members will notice that the matter of Sugar Hollow Associates LLC, the applicant's attorney requested it be tabled and continued until our next meeting on January 18th. So there will be no discussion or testimony at this meeting. Jen, do I need a motion to continue it, or can we just continue?
You can make a motion to continue it.
Any
I'll make that
volunteers?
motion, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to continue the Sugar Hill Associates application to the next meeting.
Second?
Second.
A motion made and seconded to continue the matter of Sugar Hollow Associates LLC until our next meeting, which is on January 18th. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we're going to move to old business for discussion and possible action. Item 1, Ye Old Road LLC, application for special exception site plan approval for proposed commercial building for storage of building materials and construction equipment and outdoor storage of building materials and construction equipment, sections 3E4, 6A2B14, 6A2B15 in the IL40 zone, 2 Ye Old Road, E17066, special exception number 70. We closed this at our last meeting, but we did not give guidance or have any sort of discussion for staff. Would anyone like to volunteer anything on this one or open the discussion?
Mr. Chairman, before the commission discusses it, I just wanted to let you know we had an outstanding, we are waiting for sign-offs from a couple departments, including engineering, as well as the traffic engineer. We received comments from the traffic engineer on Monday. He'd requested an additional 6 feet of conveyance along the shoulder. He called it a utility strip, but it allows for some of the utilities and the telephone utility poles. So it's the 24 feet width of the roadway and an additional 6 feet, but the widening itself is staying at 24 feet. I just wanted to be clear on that.
I just want to make sure I'm clear. Is this, Jen, an additional 6 feet in the right of way over and above what we talked about at the last meeting, or
Correct.
So
So again, it's 6 feet because the right of way is so narrow through their they're doing widening, they're doing some let me backtrack. The right of way meanders through there. It's not consistent. So to get the 24 feet across the property frontage, there's widening happening within the right of way, and then there's additional conveyances with the widening. So the 6 feet is additional conveyance that's on their property. So they're giving up additional land for that conveyance.
The applicant is.
Yes.
Everybody got that?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone want to offer any thoughts on this? I mean, I guess I could go first, which I don't typically do, but I mean, you know, this is a tricky one because it's tight. And I think a lot of us have been up there, driven up and down the road. The applicant did demonstrate that the trucks could go by each other on the old road. It's tight, but they can do it. And, you know, that we are getting the widening though. And I take some comfort in the idea that, you know, that sort of pinch point, the widening is going to improve the right of way. And, you know, it is an IL-40 zone up there. The city declared it an IL-40 zone. So, I mean, even though it's a very tight and old road, in the dwellings up there, correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer, the dwellings up there are non-conforming, right? They're non-conforming in that zone.
Correct.
So,
Yes, they're pre-existing non-conforming. They are, I mean, they're occupied, as we know. We've heard testimony from those from those homeowners. But again, it's been IL-40 for a very long time. But those houses have been there for just as long.
yeah. So, I mean, I guess, you know, my guidance is going to be in favor. I don't, you know, it's a very tricky road, very narrow, but we're getting the widening, we're improving the right of way, we're improving that pinch point, and that's about the best we can do on this one. That's where I'm coming from. So anyone else, feel free.
I myself, I agree that it's industrial and, you know, so the application is valid from that standpoint. Last time, I think, as we went through other discussions with other applications on this, there were a few things that came up that I'm still concerned about. Maybe Jennifer can you know, shed light on, you know, what the departments are feeling on this. The roadway, as I recall, there was concern by, I don't know which department, engineering maybe, I don't know, that the road would not handle the heavy trucks over periods of time, that it's not sufficiently constructed to be able to handle the weight. So that's one issue. And then there was also another issue about turnaround of emergency vehicles and school buses. And so I just would like to get an update on what the departments are feeling on those two issues.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
So the issue about, I don't know if that was brought up by someone in the neighborhood or someone in opposition. I don't recall it being brought up by one of the departments about whether the road can handle the weight of the trucks. It's a city road. They are doing widening from Kenosha up to the top of the hill. There's smidges within there that they can do a little bit of widening, but the significant widening is happening along their property frontage, which again, the pinch point that Arnie talked about is, I believe it's less than 12 feet. So now we're getting a full 24 feet. So again, it's able to, the roadway is able to accommodate, and we saw those videos, accommodate the trucks utilizing the subject property as well as other uses on that road. And with respect to the turnaround, it's a dead end. And the turnaround is further down. I don't know if school buses go on that road. And again, the type of use, you know, it's site specific. So they're not taking deliveries where they don't know where they're going. It's, it's the applicant and it's their driver. So, whether they would need to turn around or not, they know where they're going. It's, that's where they're working. So I know it was discussed, but again, that's further down the road, quite a bit, actually.
Okay, thank you for that. So, I mean, as long as, the city's okay with those, or lack of issues in those two areas, I'm concerned about safety and other things, but, it's industrial use and there's other companies that are similar in nature in terms of, usage, et cetera. So I guess I'd lean towards, approving it under those circumstances.
Thank you, Helen. Anyone else? Perry, go ahead.
Yeah, when we first saw this, I might not have been inclined to give this a favorable recommendation for an approval. But the widening was my biggest concern, and because that's taken place, and because it is in an IL-40 zone and it's a conforming use, permitted use in that zone, and for the reasons Jen just stated, I think I would lean towards giving this an approval.
Thanks, Perry. Anything, Bob? Or
Sure, yeah. Similar thoughts as Perry. When this first came through, I was skeptical about this application. I think as we talked through it and made adjustments and, as Perry said, the road widening to 24 feet is going to help quite a bit. I think it's difficult to penalize the property owner from developing his property in the a use in the right zone. There is it looks as though there are some other activities towards the end of the road similar in nature. So it's being developed more and more to the IL-40 zone, which is appropriate for this area. So at this point, I would be inclined to be in favor of it.
thank you very much, Bob. All right, Jen. That's you've heard the comments of the commission.
Thank you. If I can just add, so the commission understands, so as Ally and I start working on this resolution, some of the standard conditions, you'll see, I can't remember off the top of my head if the engineering department signed off, but if they haven't, we'll have that as a condition, as well as that additional conveyance that the traffic engineer is requesting that will require a change to the site plan to show that additional 6 feet. I've reviewed, just so the commission knows, I've reviewed the plan. It doesn't affect setbacks because, again, the conveyance, they're actually giving land, so that means their property line changes. That means the setback lines change. So we double checked that. There were no issues with that. So we'll have, again, all of those, the additional front yard landscaping, the buffer requirements, that'll be a requirement, as well as all of the road work that will be, and the conveyance. Again, you've seen those conditions, so we'll have the same type of language, storm drainage, those types of conditions you'll see in the approval. And if there's anything else the commission thinks they'd want, certainly let me know and we can incorporate that.
Will do. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks.
Okay. In that case, we can move on to,
May I make a comment about the rules?
I'm sorry.
Oh, the hearings,
Oh,
the
no.
hearings closed, Mr. Fraley.
Not about anything to do, but just with your own rules.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't allow it. The public hearing is closed. There's nothing more I can do for you. I'm sorry. And I'm not picking on you. This is
I
proper.
understand. I'm trying to follow your rules. I'm a little disappointed that y'all are not.
Understood.
We'll have to resolve it with legal action. I understand.
We're going to move right to item 2 under old business for discussion and possible action. Lestaco Brothers Federal Road LLC, property owner, BUDR, Hartford Holding LLC, applicant. Application for special exception site plan approval for cannabis retailer, sections 5A2B4 and 3C4 in the CG20 zone. 108 Federal Road, L09024, special exception number 789. Commission members, a draft resolution was previously distributed, and it was dated December 29th, 2022. And Jen, I'll let you comment on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will not read this verbatim, but because this is the first cannabis retailer approval we've had, I am going to go through some of those conditions that we've added. So again, this is the project. This is a whereas. The project requires issuance of grants of special exception for the following uses pursuant to sections 3C4 and 5A2 little b4. A cannabis retailer is a special exception use in the CG20 zone. I'm not going to go through all those whereases. It just describes the process and the existing conditions and proposed conditions. So if you want to move to page, why not have page? There's no page numbers on here, so I apologize. We'll get page numbers on there. It's the third page. Number 3 under be it further resolved. The applicant shall obtain any and all necessary permits, approvals, and licenses required from the state to undertake the work in the state right of way. If you recall, this includes the installation of that sidewalk, as well as reconfiguration and installation of the right turn only ingress and egress drives. So the applicant is required to go through that process with the state. Number 4, pursuant to section 3C4E4, the cannabis retailer shall operate only between the hours Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Number 5, the applicant shall comply with the odor abatement program, property management program, and the security plan that were approved as part of the application as referenced in Exhibit A. Number 6, pursuant to section 883 D of the June special session Public Act 21-1, it's a mouthful, the responsible and equitable responsible and equitable regulation of adult use cannabis for up to 30 days after the opening of a retailer or hybrid retailer. A municipality may charge such retailer or hybrid retailer for any necessary or reasonable cost incurred by the municipality for provision of public safety services in relation to such opening, including but not limited to public safety costs incurred to direct traffic and not to exceed $50,000. 7 and 8 are standard. Number 9, there's still an outstanding engineering department letter dated November 2nd, so that's conditioned. The traffic engineer, we're still waiting for that sign off. So that's conditioned as well. Number 11, in accordance with section 3C4Q, the applicant shall provide a copy of the final cannabis establishment license for the cannabis establishment use issued to the applicant by the state of Connecticut Commissioner of the Department of Consumer Protection, as may be sanctioned by the state of Connecticut, to the Department of Planning and Zoning and the ZEO. So that means that they're required to submit that final cannabis license to us. And the applicant for the cannabis establishment use shall be the licensee. Again, that's a zoning requirement. Number 12, and this has to do with the work within the right of way. Again, prior to the issuance of zoning compliance, we want to make sure all that work is completed. And 13 and 14 are standard requirements. Any questions?
Questions for Jennifer? Commission members on the resolution of approval with conditions? Any?
None.
Thanks, Jen. Kind of a detailed resolution, but it's all there, so thank you for that. Commission members, unless there's anything else on this one, we have a resolution of approval with conditions in front of us. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve with conditions the resolution as presented by the department. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvain. A motion is in favor has been made. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to approve the resolution of approval with conditions. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Opposed? The resolution of approval with conditions is approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Okay, so now we go to item 3, which was formerly item 1 of our continuation of public hearings agenda. Border LLC, The Botanist. Application for special exception revised site plan approval to allow 1 cannabis hybrid retailer, section 5B2B4, 3C4, and 2 trip generation in excess of 500 vehicle trips per day, section 3E2, in the CA80 zone, 105 Mill Plain Road, C14063, and all of a portion of C14064. The public hearing was closed this evening. Anyone want to comment on this? Give staff guidance? Any thoughts?
Mr. Chairman, I really don't have any issue with this. There's really not much changing with this application. There's really they're really not changing any of the floor plan, putting in a few kiosks there. They are incorporating the sidewalk across the front of the building, so that's a good thing there. So other than that, not much is really changing with this, so I don't have any issue with it.
Thank you, Mr. Kiokio. Anyone else want to, any thoughts or weigh in or anything like that?
Mr. Chairman, as long as the staff is satisfied with all the, questions and requirements they had, and it sounds like that took place, and everything is satisfactory, I'm okay with approval.
Thanks, Tom.
Same.
Barry?
I would echo the sentiments of the other commission members, and I don't see any issue. I think all of our concerns have been addressed, and as with the last applicant, it's been well vetted at this point, and I think we're in good shape.
Great. And I concur with all that. I have nothing to add to that. So Jennifer, you have your guidance. And that is,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
My agenda here. Okay, that takes care of all 3 items under old business. There's a couple of referrals, commission members that were sent out. The staff report was dated December 29th, 2023. The first one is an 824 referral. December 2022 City Council Agenda Item Number 9, Danbury Fish and Game Association. Request for lease renewal, 33 Haystown Road, I09082. Jen, did you want to comment on that? I know there's just a very brief paragraph on it on the report.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is just a lease renewal of the Danbury Fish and Game building, which I'm sure everybody knows is in front of the PAL building. Staff has no objection, no objection to issuance of a positive recommendation subject to review and approval of the lease by Office of Corporation Counsel and any additional lease terms deemed appropriate by City Council.
Any questions or comments? Other than wondering how long this place has been there forever, right? I can remember as a little kid going to Candlewood Lake and that place was there and it's still there. So I guess if it hasn't done us any harm yet, it's okay. Commission members, unless there's anything else, I'll entertain a motion for a positive recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a positive recommendation for the lease renewal there, subject to appropriate lease and any other terms that the City Council would like.
I'll second that.
Motion seconded for a positive recommendation. Any further comments? Hearing none, I will try your minds. All in favor, again, of a positive recommendation, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? This matter gets a positive recommendation. We'll move right to our second referral. It's another 824 referrals. December 2022 City Council Agenda Item Number 11, request for water main extension 21 Old Sherman Turnpike, M12016. Jennifer.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. City Council received a request from Bendodo, agent for Kilco LLC, to extend the municipal water main to serve their property located at 21 Old Sherman Turnpike. If you recall, the Planning Commission issued approval back in 2018 to permit a contractor's office with uses that include screening, processing of earth materials, outdoor storage of concrete aggregates, storage or manufacture of bituminous products, storage of building materials, and the outdoor storage of construction equipment. Basically everything in the IG 80 zone. So the commission granted approval, and at that point, water wasn't proposed. So they are now proposing to bring water down. So it would be an extension from where it terminates near 26 to 30 Old Sherman Turnpike, which is Sealed Air. The plan indicates the site is within the proposed water service area. The department has no objection, and staff's recommendation is subject to development of the site per the requirements in the approval and the standard requirements for public water main extensions and construction thereof.
Thank you, Jen. Any questions for Jennifer, commission members, on this one? Hearing none, I'll entertain again a motion for a positive recommendation.
So moved.
Motion made, and do I see a second?
Second.
It's made and seconded for a positive recommendation. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. This gets a positive recommendation as well. You'll see something under new business, commission members, a couple of things under new business, stuff that's coming up January 18th and one for February 15th. There is an item we do have to discuss for correspondence, other matters for discussion and possible action. Discussion and possible action on A, request from Attorney Neil Marcus to extend the approval of Savannah Hills re-subdivision 193 to 207. Great Plain Road, subdivision 0609, re-subdivision, and B, the issuance of proposed notice of expiration of re-subdivision. You may recall, commission members, we had to refer this out to Corporation Council, sort of sticky issue. There's a lot of dates moving around. So then, Jennifer, did you want to comment on it at all?
Yeah, if I can, Mr. Chairman, I've got some notes, so you just bear with me. There's a little, I want to go through the history and then go through Attorney Casagrande's letter. And then, at the end, the commission can discuss. So we received this request from Attorney Marcus for the extension of time for Savannah Hills re-subdivision. And I'm not sure how many of the commission members were on the commission when we did this, but the original the commission approved the original subdivision by stipulated agreement November 19th, 2008. The applicant then came back with a re-subdivision application that was approved by the commission on December 5th, 2012. Then in 2017, the applicant applied for a 5-year extension that was granted by the Planning Commission. All improvements were required to be complete by December 5th, 2022. And as a reminder, the statutes allow for 5 years, and then they come in for an additional 5-year extension. So the end of November, the commission received a request from Attorney Marcus to grant an extension of time pursuant to Public Act 21-163. We then requested, at that time, we requested an opinion from Corporation Counsel as to the applicant's request. And you have Attorney Marcus's request as well as Attorney Casagrande's opinion letter. The letter in summary addresses the expiration date, the statutory requirements for the extension of time, as well as the procedural requirements for the expiration of the subdivision. So starting with number 1, which follows Attorney Casagrande's letter with respect to the expiration. The date of the re-subdivision approval is controlling as to the expiration date. I'll get to that in a little bit, why that's important. Again, the re-subdivision was approved on December 5th, 2012. So any extensions are calculated from that date, which is exactly what Attorney Marcus did in 2017 with the 5-year extension. Again, 2012 is the controlling date. So the reason we're here tonight, Attorney Marcus's request for an extension under Public Act 21-163. Under this act, 8-20 Connecticut General Statutes 8-26 little c parens e, which governs timeframes for approvals, was repealed and amended to now provide any subdivision approval prior to July 1st, 2011 shall expire not less than 14 years after the date of approval, and the commission may grant an extension up to 5 years, not exceeding 19 years. So as noted in the Corporation Council's letter, the extension is not permitted under Public Act 21-163 because the resub approval was granted after that 2011 date.
Oh,
Excuse me. The extensions available were previously granted, but expired on November 5th, 2022. The Planning Commission has no authority to approve the request.
wow.
Number 3, the statutes require notice of the extension, the expiration of, let me start over, I apologize. The statutes require notice of the expiration to the applicant. This is required by statute. For the expiration to be effective, the commission must take certain specific actions. First, the Planning Commission must file a notice of the expiration on the land records and shall state such expiration on the subdivision plan that's filed on the land records. And notice shall be published in the paper as well in the News Times. So in summary, which I feel like I'm just going to repeat what I just said, the statutory extensions have expired, so the Planning Commission may reasonably determine the applicant is not eligible for additional extensions under Connecticut General Statutes 8-26C and must file a new application. It's recommended that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution denying the applicant's request for extension and authorize staff to provide notice of expiration, file the notice of expiration on the land records, state the expiration on the approved plan, and again, publish in the News Times. So it's a very long-winded summary, but I felt there's a lot of information I wanted to get to the commission so they understood Attorney Casagrande's letter.
Well, that's
So-
why we Casa Grande is to sort all this out, because there's a lot of moving parts here and a lot of different timeframes and extensions. But I think his letter was fairly straightforward. I mean, for the reasons that I won't even try to summarize, the applicant ultimately has to come back in for a new subdivision. And that's about it. They're not eligible for additional extensions under CGS, blah, 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 blah. Commission members, any questions or comments for Jennifer on this sticky matter?
Yeah.
If not, we'll need some sort of a motion to approve or deny, again, the request for the extensions for the reasons discussed. Mr. Kiokio.
Sure. I'll make a motion, I guess, to direct the planning staff here to draft a resolution to deny the request for an extension, and then authorize the planning director or any of the staff to provide notice of the expiration to the applicant, and then also to file notice of the expiration on the land records, as well as state the expiration on the approved re-subdivision plan, and then publish notice in the News Times. All of this according to Attorney Casagrande's letter there.
Thank you for that motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. I guess it's to in summary, it's a motion to direct staff to deny the request for the extension. That's been made and seconded. Is there any other
Excuse
discussion?
me, who seconded it?
I
Was
think
it
it was
Perry.
it was Perry? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Perry or Kevin. Thank you.
Okay, motion made and seconded, and if there's no further discussion, I will try your minds. Again, the motion was to direct staff to deny the approval of the Savannah Hills re-subdivision for the reasons stated. All
Mr.
in-
Chairman, just to clarify, it's to direct staff to draft a resolution.
Right.
We're not denying, we're drafting the resolution that we'll then bring back to the commission.
Thank you, Jen. I correct myself on that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? This matter will be resolved as per Jennifer's previous comment. Or I screwed that one up again. All right. Item
Thank you.
2, under other matters for discussion and possible action, annual election of chairman and vice chairman. So I guess I probably should have gone through this earlier, but are there any nominations for vice chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like,
He's frowning on that.
I'm sorry. So is there any nominations? Do I hear a nomination for vice chairman? Helen,
I'd like to nominate Bob Kiokio for vice chairman.
do I hear a second?
I'll
second,
second it.
Motion made and seconded. Bob, you've been nominated. Are there any other nominations? Okay, the nominations are closed. I will therefore, I guess the appropriate thing is to take a vote. There is one candidate for vice chairman, Bob Kiokio. And all in favor of Mr. Kiokio remaining as vice chairman, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Bob, you've been reelected. Are there any nominations for chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Chairman Arnold E. Fernaldi as chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. There's been Arnold E. Finaldi has been nominated for chairman. Are there any other nominations? Okay, nominations are closed. I will therefore take a vote. All in favor of Arnold Finaldi remaining as chairman, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Well, that election, no surprises in that election, so that's all good.
Now good job.
Okay. There's a couple of items under for reference only. And Jen, am I forgetting anything?
No, you're not.
Okay. Well, if there's
Was
nothing else,
there, Mr. Chairman, was there a number 3 under that we were supposed to discuss? Or did we do that already?
No, we
We
did
did.
that.
we did
Oh,
that.
Did it.
Yeah, the number 3 was under old business. We're over.
Oh,
under
okay.
other-
Got it. Yeah,
Okay, unless there's anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Motion
Second.
made, seconded, and discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? This is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. And with any luck at all, the Yukon Huskies will beat the Marquette, whatever they are tonight. So we can get